Thanks for tuning in to the Suburban Toronto Real Estate Sales Report. I'm Debbie Gonin-Braun from Team Gonin at RE/MAX About Town. At Team Gonin, we specialize in residential real estate in Oakville, Milton, and Burlington, Ontario. And today I'm going to discuss the latest sales results for these three areas. Just a reminder that I use information from two sources, the Oakville, Milton, and District Real Estate Board, or OMDREB, and the Realtors Association of Hamilton, Burlington when compiling my statistics. The January highlights are as follows. The real estate market continues to remain slower, with all three towns or cities showing a decrease in sales year over year. There were 520 total sales reported on OMDREB for the month of January, which is down by about 4.93% from January 2010. There were 743 total sales reported on the Hamilton board, which is identical to the number sold in January last year. New listing inventory has started to increase on OMDREB, with 1,031 new residential listings appearing on the Oakville Milton board for the month of January, and the number of new residential listings that were reported on the Hamilton board for January was 1,734, and this is about 25.65% higher than it was in January last year. Amazingly, both the average and median sale prices for Oakville for January are up over 2010, and they are up over previous years. Both Milton and Burlington's average prices are up over January 2010, and Burlington's median price is also higher. The real estate market for 2011 has definitely started off with a boom. I've used charts to compare results for each town and city. Again, just a reminder that I'm not just comparing this year's results to last year, but I'm also reviewing those back to 2008. In the chart, the blue color is sales in Oakville in 2008, the gold those in 2009, the red 2010, and the green are for sales this year. For January, the results show that residential sales are down by about 7.4% from last year, but as you can see, up by about 116% from the number sold in 2009. Now you've got to keep in mind that the fall of 2008 through to the spring of 2009 is when we had the crash, so therefore it's definitely a good thing that we are substantially higher. The average sale price for Oakville for January was $644,849, and this is the highest seen in the last 4 years and is also 8.4% higher than it was in January last year. As I always mention, I like to look at the median price because to me it's a true indicator of price. It's the number that sits right in the middle of all sales, so it isn't skewed by one or two really high or really low sales. The median price for Oakville for the month of January was $522,450, and again, this is the highest we've seen in the last 4 years. The number of residential sales in Milton for the month of January was down 15.6% from January 2010. Milton's residential average price for January broke the 400 barrier and is $401,488, and this is up by about 3.2% from January last year and is also one of the highest seen within the last 12 months. $362,500 was the median price for Milton for the month of January, and this is down by about 2.7% year over year. Like the other areas, Burlington sales are down year over year, with 167 residential sales taking place in January, and this is down by about 6.7% when compared to January 2010. The average sale price in Burlington for January was $392,221, and this is up 6.6% over January last year. And as you can see from the chart, it's about the fourth highest average price we've seen in the last 4 years. The median price for Burlington was $356,491, and again this is up 3.3% over January last year, and again is one of the highest we've seen in the last few years. So what conclusions can we draw from these results? Well, the real estate market in these three areas is definitely off to a great start, although the number of residential sales are down when compared to 2010. New listing inventory is starting to increase again following the holidays, but it is still substantially lower than it has been in previous years. We are definitely in a more balanced market. However, we're still seeing multiple offers for homes that are priced very realistically and show well. I believe the new mortgage rules that were announced a few weeks ago, which shorten the amortization period from 35 to 30 years and also reduce total borrowing from 90 to 85%, will possibly have a nominal impact on the market. Having said that, I believe it is much better to be cautious and conservative, so I think these changes are good. Immediately, however, we might see a slight increase in the volume of sales as buyers needing these longer amortization periods need to act by the March 18th deadline. As I mentioned last month, I don't think we're going to see the rate hikes originally expected for 2011. Interest rates continue to be exceptionally low, and I predict that they will continue to be so. Also, affordability remains in check, so I would expect that growth for 2011 will be slower than we've seen in the latter part of 2009 and early 2010, and I would predict that sale prices will increase by about 3% this year. The number of sales will trend upwards, but again, I would expect nowhere near the volume that we've experienced in previous years. I would think that 2011 will be a strong and balanced real estate market. What to do next? Well, if you're a buyer that's looking to buy a home within the next few months, I would recommend that you attend one of our latte and learning sessions where we offer free home buyer workshop. It's critical that you understand what the market is doing and what advantages there are for you. Not only will you have a great cup of coffee, but at the workshop you'll learn about the entire buying process as we discuss all the details from start to finish, and we have presentations from all sorts of people involved in the process. The home buyer workshop info can be found under the buyers tab at the top of this blog site. If your plans involve buying a home in the future, let's say 6 to 12 months from now, I would recommend that you start to get house lists sent to you free by email. This way you can learn and watch to see for yourself what the real estate market is doing. Again, if you go under the Buyers tab on the blog site, you can select which home lists you would like to receive. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Suburban Toronto Real Estate Sales Report for Oakville, Milton, and Burlington. My name is Debbie Gonen-Braun from Team Gonen at RE/MAX About Town. Have a wonderful day.